Okay, we're back. We're here in my favorite tower, the Adventure Tower, and I haven't been here in about a month or so. So now to pick up where we left off when I was telling you a little bit more of my story. Also, a little bit of my story where people will always ask me, when were those God moments, where things had started to turn around, the born-again moments when things had started to turn around in turning things over to God? Well, the way I'm so complicated, I need several of them. I need several, but in approximately March of '87 was my turnaround year, and when things had started, and of course that's when I started recording Disneyland, of course, and that's when the turnaround year for that one, and especially. And then in '93, approximately a few months after my father's passing. And to get into every moment specifically, but on a particular matter, especially in the area of music, and you guys have heard my testimony and my story. It was on my Serbian Orthodox Easter in April of 2018, and you guys already know my story. But then on another particular, and then of course Catherine, the friendship with Catherine, that was what I call the game changer. But when it's sometimes that moment where it's just like God is asking you two questions, and it's like, that's what I call the game changer. And that was my moment on a particular matter that had bothered me in an area that I had been really wounded and upset and frustrated, and a lot of negative energy and stuff that had happened. And I felt it was one of those moments where it was just like two questions. And it changed the way I looked at things on a particular matter where I had been so hurt and so wounded, where I just felt, but it was one of those moments, like one of those like rapid fire, like answer the question really fast, no time to think, where, and it was just an ordinary day, nothing different was happening, and I felt like God was just asking me the question, especially because of Catherine's influence. And this was approximately in July of 2013. I can't remember the date, but it was there. The question was there. I knew it was. And where I just felt, what do they call that? Rapid fire. Oh, yeah. Where it's like to answer quickly. And then I felt like God was saying, today, if you had to choose between Catherine to lay hands and pray over you or the other, where there was a friendship many years ago, it's like God says, choose one or the other. That's what I was saying the last time. Choose one or the other. You can't have both. And I was kind of caught off guard. It's like, huh? What? What's going on here? And then I thought to myself, okay. But God says one or the other. You can't have it both. I'm picking up where I left off. And then I thought, okay, Catherine had befriended me, and I knew Catherine longer, where she was my boss for a couple of years. But then in the other situation, we were friends a long time. But then let's just call him Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno, where he had broken up where we were friends at one time, but he had broken up the friendship. We don't talk about Bruno. So then God was saying, like, choose one or the other. And then I thought to myself, I says, I would choose Catherine for the prayer and to be laid hands. But the other one, where there was a friendship at one time, but Frank, we'll call him Frank, Bruno, broke up the friendship. But I would choose the other one for the conversation. And then there was like a pause, and I think I was in my car at that time. I don't remember the date, but it did happen. I remember that it did happen. I guess because I was so much into it and focused that I didn't think about it. And then the next question was really interesting. It's like it was an inner dialogue. It was like God's way of saying, okay, Steffi, that's my nickname, or Seka, that's my Serbian name, Steffi. Like God was saying, you just told me that you would rather choose Catherine. That's your choice. Then the question that came was, woman, then why are you so angry? What are you tripping over when you just said that you would rather choose Catherine? Then what are you so upset about? What are you tripping over? What are you so upset about what they said, what they had said, when you yourself said that you'd rather choose Catherine? And this is the honest to God truth on this particular matter. I started laughing in an area that I couldn't laugh where I was so wounded, it was at that time, 3 decades, I found myself cracking up and I said, yeah, that's true. What am I so upset about? But now, what I had discovered at that time, which did not exist before, 2 words: free will, the ability to choose. Because when I was under the influence of Bruno, when he broke up the friendship and a lot of things that were spoken, and when it's spoken in the name of God, then you can't fight City Hall. Then it's like they said that thus saith the Lord, so you cannot question it. When just messages that I was told that you need to give it up, a lot of negative energy, a lot of manipulation, a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, like a lot of force, a lot of manipulation, that you can't have it. Anytime, I grew up with the whole idea was anytime something is precious and valuable and precious memories, an emotional connection, don't hang on to it too much. Don't cling, because you're going to have to give it up because it's an idol. It's an obsession. Then all of this, what does it mean? Going around in circles, a lot of negative energy going back from the early 90s. But then this was the first time free will was a concept that never, ever existed because of the influence of Bruno, where all the strife and him stirring up the pot, while Catherine had brought peace and tranquility in a troubled situation also. But this was what I feel where it was God's moment, where it was like a God's intervention, when it's like for the first time I felt like I had the free. What am I so upset about? I had the free will to choose, and that's the key. What's the point in being told you need to give it up? It's not supposed to be important. That's not supposed to matter to you. What's the point of giving it up if you're not laying it down willingly? But for the first time, what was at that time 3 decades, almost 3 decades, I felt that I was able to lay down a matter willingly, and then also with Catherine, and also. But it's interesting because with this other friendship, it was a perfect 10. And so much that I didn't want to let it go. An emotional connection that I didn't want. So take everything that was the best, 10 stars, not 5 stars. The best in a friendship that went back in 85, which was a friendship that was so precious and dear to me. Take everything which was the best of that, go to the next level. That's Catherine. That what I needed and what had touched me more deeply was not just the lay hands, be prayed over, fall down, get up. That was all wonderful for its time. But for what I needed that Rambo approach where I feel that Catherine was better able to reach me. And that's wonderful that I was, that was a connection that worked better for me and that reached me. And then God bless, amicably shake hands, goodbye, God bless, go home without any strife. That was the first time that I was able to see that there was free will. I did not see that or what that looked like. So anyhow, I gotta take a break. My mouth is dry. That's too much information. Okay, and then we'll be back in a few moments.